Boom. Welcome to Fight Heads MMA. It's me, Miss Nikki. And today I have a very special guest with me. I have the Clark Kent of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, Mr. Harris, the SandMan Stevenson, here tonight with Fight Heads MMA. How are you, young man?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I am blessed. So I've known this young man. I met him at the very first Bare Knuckle. I think you were on that card, weren't you? Or on the second?
I was on the second, and the first one
Okay,
down here in Biloxi.
Okay, yeah. So I met him at the second bare knuckle, and I've known him ever since. And he is such an awesome young man. He's a family man. He brings his oh man, this young man comes with his own group of supporters. He take up a whole section at the bare knuckle fight championship situation. People can't even get tickets for his family. Your people
Yeah.
really come and show up and show love for you. I'll be so excited to see your family. It's awesome to see you guys with your support systems rallying behind you. Y'all need that when y'all come to these events to fight.
Absolutely. It's definitely it's a double-edged sword because it's a blessing to have so many people there to support me, and then at the same time it's that extra added pressure, of having all those eyes on you, the people that actually know you and talk to you on a regular basis and follow you, and now you are putting your health and kind of your identity on the line by going in front of these people and fighting and putting it all out there. So you might get embarrassed, you don't know. So all that anxiety kind of adds up too. So, but it's a blessing.
Does is that at the end of the day sometimes more pressure than the fight itself at times
At times, yeah, oh yeah, because
or at
I mean
moments?
I don't want to let anybody down, and I know the fight's about me and everything, but at the same time, you got teammates, coaches. I got my family, my wife and kids. Got all the supporters have been there for years. I mean, I've been in the fight game for 12 years now, so I've built up a pretty large crowd down in this area and other places around. So I don't want to let anybody down because they're paying their hard-earned money to come out and support me and see me, and I don't want to let anything bad happen, and I actually use that as motivation. I like the anxiety personally. I'm a little crazy, I guess, but I like the anxiety of having all the people watching me and kind of depending on me to put on a good show for them. So that kind of helps me to train harder, and then also when in the fight, not to give up, just fight until the last ounce of breath is in my lungs.
So, with that being said, you are making your fourth appearance at Bare Knuckle this coming card at BKFC9. Please
That's
tell
it.
us a little bit about your background and how you came to be a KC, and you can go into talking about how your fights went along the way up until this point, and then we can talk about what's going on with this upcoming bout.
All right. Well, I first gotten into training after I graduated high school in 2007. And I honestly didn't even know what MMA was at the time, but I played a bunch of sports in high school, wasn't very good at any of them. I mean, I was decent, but I was not obviously not good enough to make it to college. So after high school, I just had a bunch of free time because I was a nerd, didn't really hang out with many people, and the people I did hang out with moved away for college or joined the military. So I started going to the gym to work out, and they were advertising MMA classes. Didn't know what MMA was at the time. However, it said boxing on it. I was like, man, I always wanted to try boxing. I'm gonna go give this a shot. So I liked it, stuck with it. 8 months later, had my first amateur fight. Ended up not going my way, but fought again a month later, won, and then ended up going 7-2 as an amateur and turned professional in 2010. And I'm now 6-2 as a pro in MMA. Back in 2018, I got a call from William Hunter, or actually I saw a post on Facebook by William Hunter sitting there saying, "Hey, look, I'm looking for somebody down on the coast that's either boxing or MMA pro that wants to jump in this bare knuckle." And I'd actually seen a highlight of the first card, and I saw Tony Lopez fight, and it was just absolutely brutal. And I was like, "Man, these guys are insane." And then when I saw him post something maybe a week later about looking for a local fighter, I was like, "Man, I said, I'm kind of crazy. I think I could do that." So I wrote him. I said, "Man, look, oh yeah, I'm kind of crazy. I think I could do that." So I wrote him up and I said, "Man, look, I said, I'm MMA. I've never done pro boxing. I said, I've done some slugfest and stuff. But other than that, which are slugfest down here, like the old school tough man competitions.
Okay. Yeah,
But
they're making a little bit of a comeback, the tough man competition.
yeah, I've seen them. They're getting bigger and bigger. So hey, more power to them too, because I mean those are exciting fights to watch themselves. But I wrote him and I said, man, look, I said, in MMA, I'm 6-1 at the time. And I said, I'm known as a ground guy, but I got hands. I just choose to go to the ground. I said, if y'all want to check me out, I'll come perform for you, do something at the gym, kind of show that I have hands. And he brought me back. Said, okay, well, let me talk to David Feldman. Ended up, David Feldman came down to a casino in Biloxi a couple weeks later. We ended up meeting at the casino, talking for a little bit. He liked me. Say, hey man, look, he goes, I want you to be on the card. What's it going to take? So we talked, negotiated, and I ended up being on that card. And had a guy come in from Indiana that I fought, and ended up was lucky in that fight that I didn't take too much damage, and I actually won with a knockout in 26 seconds in the first round. So I felt good. Now I was kind of blown away, because here I am, a ground guy. I know I had hands, but I never really utilized them, and I won in 26 seconds. So I felt good. So I was like, man, I can do this. So I turned around, did the very next show, BKFC3, and I fought a very tough gentleman by the name of Elvan, which I knew that fight was going to be tough before. As soon as I signed the contract, I already told my coach, man, this fight's going to be a brutal fight. And I even warned the wife. I said, Karen, listen, so this fight is not going to be pretty. I need you to just kind of keep your calm, because Elvan is not somebody you're going to put away very easily. And so I went in with the mentality of it being a dogfight, and it absolutely was. And going into the 5th round, I was told by my coach, hey, look, you might be behind on the scorecard. You need to pull something out this round. So came out the 5th round, try to go for a hard straight right to start the round. I missed. Alvarito came with an overhand right, landed perfectly. Actually landed on the brachial plexus and right there in the neck, put me to sleep. So my second fight, I got knocked out. So I lost that fight. So I was like, okay. So now it's time for some redemption. I gotta hit the drawing board again, come back. So turned around. They came back for BKFC5. I ended up getting a very tough opponent again, and Caleb Harris. So I went with that mentality. I was like, all right, Caleb's another tough guy. He's gonna be a hard guy to put away, but I'm gonna actually put my effort into trying to get this fight finished within the first 2 rounds. And I absolutely did. I threw everything but the kitchen sink at Caleb Harris in the first and second round of that fight. And that dude has an incredible chin. That dude's just a warrior. He has a heart of a lion, and that's why his name's the Lionheart. So, I mean, we ended up going to war, and it ended up being a 5-round fight, the first ever decision of my career. And I ended up getting a split decision win over him. And so I was like, okay. So I'm getting better. I said, I gotta figure out how to keep my cardio higher, so that way I can keep the same pace I kept for the first 2 rounds and all 5 rounds, because I did slow down a little bit. And so for BKFC 7, I trained my ass off, and I was absolutely prepared to just go to war. And my opponent unfortunately came in a little heavy, which I'd actually reached out and told my connection with BKFC. I was like, hey, look, this guy's heavy. I said, he's starting to cut at 230. He's trying to make it down to 170 is what our bout agreement was at. I said, that's a big cut. And they said, man, he'll make weight. He's done it before. I said, okay. So I ended up, he was 11 pounds over. Tried to work something out, couldn't happen. So that fight ended up getting scratched. And I was very let down about that, but hey, it is what it is. It's a fight game. You have your ups and downs. So
How many pounds overweight did he
I
come?
decided to go ahead.
How many pounds was he over?
11. He was 11 pounds over.
How much notice did he have for the fight?
He took the fight maybe 6 weeks out, 7 weeks out.
Oh,
It was a long time. So he had a full camp. Yeah, it's not like he took a short notice fight. It was an entire fight camp, and he's in there advertising stuff along the way. And mind you, he's a very, very big guy. I mean, he was absolutely, no doubt, he was a stud, and he was a power lifter, bodybuilder looking type. I mean, he's just a stout guy. And I was like, this dude's going to have a hard time making the weight, but if he does, he's probably going to be drained. So I'll just use my cardio to take him in deep water and drown him. And like I said, unfortunately, that fight got scrapped. So I kept training. now I get the opportunity at BKFC9. I'm fighting a very tough gentleman again, and KENNY LICEA, and he's coming in from Topeka, Kansas. I've seen a couple of his fights. He's pretty well rounded. He's got a good ground game and good hands, but in his hands, all his fights that he's won with his hands are by a brutal overhand right. And he used to be a college pitcher, so he's got very quick overhand right, and it apparently has a lot of power because it looks like he just touches people and they just fall to sleep. So I know I'm going to watch out for that. I know it's going to be this is going to be another fight. I tell Karen, hey, look, I might not be the prettiest after this fight, but hopefully we're going to come out on top again. So, and then
it looks like defense probably was a big part of camp this time for you.
Yes, absolutely. Head movement, angles, doing just basics and cardio, because I don't want to get to the point to where I was slowing down with Caleb Harris. I don't want to get to that point again. So I want to be able to maintain a pace.
Right?
Huh?
In the 5th round, right?
Whenever
you were starting to feel a little winded in the 5th round with him, right?
It was actually the 3rd round.
Oh, really?
The first and second round, I felt phenomenal. And then coming out after the 2nd round, because I put a barrage of punches together trying to end the fight, and he wouldn't go away. So I kind of exhausted myself, and you can see the difference between the first 2 rounds, how my movement was, to the 3rd round where I'm just kind of standing in front of him, trading punches. And that's when I started getting caught more, and he started catching me with check left hooks. And so I've worked on my game to correct all that, and I've actually thrown in some new stuff, trying some southpaw stuff. So you might see some of that out there. So you never know.
Yeah, new fighter. That's what I'm talking about. So how do you feel about your personal growth as a fighter, as a bare knuckle fighter, from your first fight going into your 4th fight? Do you think and gradual? Are you happy with the progress that you have made, and are you comfortable where you're at?
Absolutely. I'm very happy with the progress I've made, because the first fight I didn't really know what to expect. And then even after that fight, I still didn't really know what to expect because it happened so quick. I mean, 26 seconds, you can't really learn a lot other than your anxiety of standing 3 feet in front of somebody is skyrocketing whenever they say knuckle up, So I figured out that I have to kind of calm myself down a little bit before I get to the line. And because in MMA, the cage is 15 feet apart or so, give or take, depending on the ring. So the ref would usually bring you in the center, kind of talk to you, bottom of my commands at all times, yada, 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 touch gloves and go to your corners. So touch gloves or go to the corner. I'd always punch the top of the cage just to kind of throw my anxiety away, just kind of get it out. And for bare knuckle, there is no walking back. You're standing right there in the center of the ring saying, all right, toe the line, knuckle up, now throw punches, So there is no way to get rid of that anxiety. So I had to come up with a new system, and I figured out how to get rid of, kind of shake my nerves per se, to when I get up to that line and just ready to throw down. But I think that the biggest thing I've changed from then to now is I've absolutely positively improved my boxing tenfold, because I pretty much had enough hand speed and movement to get somebody to the ground or to hold my own. I wasn't really an aggressive stand-up fighter in MMA.
You seem kind of aggressive at bare knuckle. I don't know if you realize that, but you seem aggressive enough at bare knuckle.
Oh yeah, well, I've kind of even in that first fight when I was aggressive, it kind of threw me off because I didn't expect myself to be that aggressive. It just kind of something snapped and we were going at it. But I guess when I'm limited on my options, I only have my hands. I'm like, hey, I only got them, might as well throw them. So I kind of get in that mindset of just pressure. Let's exchange, rock 'em, sock 'em, robots, So and just hope my head movement and angles are better than my opponents. But I've absolutely cleaned up my boxing tenfold since the first fight. I've actually gone to Gulfport Boxing Club, which is a pro boxing gym down here. And I spar with the pros down there, and I mean, I absolutely get ate up. Don't get me wrong, but I've cleaned up my game, and they've helped me a lot and shown me some holes in my boxing, and I can actually hang with them now. So it's come around. And also the Caleb Harris fight, something I learned was that my strength while my cardio kind of tanked after 2 rounds, and I wanted to pick that up, my strength didn't feel all the way there either, like it had been, and I'd kind of cut off from strength and conditioning because my first MMA loss in 2014, I felt like came from I did too much strength and conditioning and I gassed in the fight. I went for submission after submission after submission on a guy and ended up going late in the second round, and he ended up catching me in a submission because I was just tired. And there's no excuse for it. I should have been in better cardio shape, but because the more muscle mass you have, the more cardio you have to have. So I've been kind of scared ever since that time to really put on too much muscle mass and gas out again, and because that was a terrible feeling. So whenever I got after the Caleb Harris fight, I was like, man, I said my punches felt crisp, they felt good, but obviously I didn't put them away. So I know he's got a tough chin, but I think I can up my power a little bit to make it a little bit more in my favor too, so I can start putting some more people away. So I've kind of upped my power and started weight training again, done lightweight and high rep stuff, but quick twitch muscles. And I think you're going to see a noticeable difference when I hit the scales on Friday.
That's what's up. Oh my. So you have reincorporated and been able to find a good balance for everything to fit into your training now. And you don't have to shy away from any part of it. So do you guys in your training camp with your coaches, have you guys been training the 2-minute rounds that are actually happening in the fight? Are you training that instinct of that bell ringing? And I know you are a vet, so that bell ringing should be automatic for you at this point. So are you guys, practicing?
Yeah, whenever I spar, I do 2 or 3 minute rounds depending on the boxing gym. We usually go 3 minutes, sometimes 4 minutes. But when I spar with the MMA guys, they're pro MMA fighters, so they're doing me a favor by just staying with me because I'll bounce between gyms, going to Alan Belcher's and Gulfport Boxing Club. And so the pro MMA guys go 5-minute rounds. So what we'll do is we'll go the first 2 rounds, and then at the 3-minute mark we'll take a break. From when it starts the 2-minute mark, we'll go 2-minute round again, and kind of work that way. However, when I'm training, I actually do 5-minute rounds and try to push my pace for all 5 minutes. And I do 10 5-minute rounds every morning before I go to work. I run, I do a little extra strength and conditioning, and just trying to make sure that a 2-minute round seems like nothing. So
have y'all actually kind of went through a trial run of it? You know what I mean? Since you're training at 5-minute intervals, have you guys run your trial run through of the 2-minute intervals for you to see how you feel after each round?
Absolutely, yeah. I did it last weekend. Okay. And I felt good, and I actually do it again tomorrow. Tomorrow's my last day of sparring. I'm meeting up with Jason Knight and some other guys, and we're gonna go spar tomorrow morning and get our last session in and try to see where I'm at and make sure my cardio is on point before I start having to cut all this weight.
I know that's all right. So how do you mentally adjust from you're incorporating all of this together? How are you going to adjust to going from gloves to no gloves? Even though you're a veteran and you're used to feeling, nobody really gets used to it, but you know what it feels like to be hit with that bare knuckle since your last opponent. Do you feel like you got any ring rust or anything since it's,
I don't think I have ring rust per se. I think it's still going to be a little bit different. I have started hitting the bag without gloves, just hand wraps, just trying to get used to that feeling again, because it is awkward punching somebody without gloves. They're kind of a security blanket. Yeah. So when you take them off, it kind of makes you hesitant to put your power into it, and so to kind of build my mental game for it, because that's what it boils down to, is whether you're mentally trained to actually throw that punch without a glove covering it because you're scared you're going to hurt your hand. So, and I've actually done a lot of grip training for this camp as well, trying to strengthen the muscles in my hand. That way it helps keep the metacarpals together, keep it from breaking. because I got to go back to work that following Wednesday on patrol. So I mean, I can't have a broken hand on the street. So trying to make sure I do everything I can to keep these jokers safe.
I know that's daggone right. So have you been working your clinch and some of the body work, stuff like that? You know, because I know, do you plan on, is it at this point, do you feel like you're comfortable with anywhere it could go between the clinch and just be, you know, just trying to get your range and all of that? Are you comfortable with anywhere this fight goes?
For this camp, I actually feel comfortable
Outside of that
anywhere.
thing on pitcher's hand, he got covered that big old right hand.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He, like I said, he's got that heavy overhand right. So I've been working a little something for that. But I think in the clinch even he's going to have some power behind it. So I've been working the clinch. I've been working distance. I've been working the different angles of how I need to approach and how I need to exit the exchanges just to make sure, because I don't want to get clipped going in or going out.
Absolutely.
So
Probably the hardest part for y'all too.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, and I've really worked my range a lot because obviously in the Elvan Brito fight, Elvan Brito was a good bit shorter than I was, but he
Mhm.
ended up catching me with that overhand right. And ultimately that fight was doomed because I didn't utilize my range. Not taking anything away from Elvan Brito, he won the fight fair and square. But if I would have utilized my range, I would have taken as much damage and would at least look better at the end of the fight. Because after that fight, I looked like a swole up chipmunk. So hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I've ever since that fight, I've really started trying to work my range, and I felt better with it with Caleb Harris. But I still noticed that I was coming in a little too tight sometimes, and could really extend my punches a little bit more. But I feel like this fight, there's going to be a noticeable difference from any fight that you've seen me in prior, and I'm just excited to show it.
Well, I'm excited for you. I am so excited. So, with that being said, this is your fourth appearance. What is your ultimate goal with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship? And have you fought all three times at the same? And is this fourth fight all going to be at the same weight class?
Um, my goal for bare knuckle is to eventually get in the tournament. Um, I'm hoping they establish a tournament for 165, 175. I'll try to jump in either one of those because I'll float between there because my MMA weight is 170.
Okay.
And bare knuckle, my first two I fought at 165. My third one I fought at 170. My fourth one's supposed to be at 170. Now this one, my true fourth one's going to be at 170 again. So, and I'm actually debating on even bumping that up a little bit for the next show because I've kind of been asked hypothetical situations about opponents that might weigh a little bit more than I do if I'd be willing to go up to a little bit of a higher weight. And I said, yeah, if the stars align and that happens, I'm down to fight. And that just means less weight I got to cut, if any. So I might be fighting at my walk around weight. You never know.
Which is what?
But I in camp I'm usually walking between 185 and 190 ish. So outside of camp, I'm a fat kid at heart. You know, I like my mug shots and my pizza and all that stuff. So I might hang a little higher, about 195 to 200. But but no, in camp I should really dial it down rather, and start eating the chicken and eggs and all the plain stuff. That gets monotonous after a while, but you got to do what you got to do.
No, that's good. All right. So, I want to ask you a little bit about being a police officer.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you know, I believe that is a very, very tough job. You're always in a tough position because you have to wear so many different hats each shift. And
Absolutely.
sometimes you think you need to be wearing one hat and then you figure out you got to be wearing another right there on the spot. So with relations in your community that you work in, how is your interaction with the community? How do the people receive you? And have you been in the
Uh,
same area for, a certain amount of time? Do they know you very well?
Oh yeah, the public down here has gotten to know me pretty well. I mean, I've been on patrol going on 8 years, or I've been with the department going on 8 years. So a lot of the guys have seen my face and know me. And I'm working a section of town where I've been here. I actually got put back here. I think it was May. I made the transition out of school resource officer, which I was at a local high school, and working with kids for the last 2 years, and then ended up coming back to patrol. And so I've been in the same area. So I've kind of established myself with the people. But I got a nickname when I was early in my career, and I worked one of the roughest areas in the city of Gulfport. But I was nicknamed the Officer Friendly. So because I was always nice to everybody, and I'm the guy that will talk to you and try to hear you out and try to play Dr. Phil per se, I guess, and try to just help people and guide people in the right direction, especially if they're trouble. I might arrest them for a crime, but then I'm gonna spend some time talking to them like, hey, look, you really need to clean up your act, 'cause the way you're gonna go down this road, and this is gonna happen, and A, B, and C are gonna end up being your fate, and you don't want to do that. You're too young, or you got kids, or whatever the issue, whatever they have going for them that they need to correct themselves for. Try to give them some motivation, see that they really have an opportunity to be better than what they are.
Do you work in a predominantly black area where you patrol?
Right now, the area I'm in is probably pretty well split between 50-50.
Okay.
Um,
Do you
but
yell from either side about being a
good,
police officer? You know what I mean? Because I know some people could be like, "Why you over here in our neighborhood?" And even your old people could be like, "Why you over here in our neighborhood?" You know, so
yeah. Luckily in the city I work in, the residents down here are pretty receptive and pretty pro law enforcement. I mean, you have some people that are obviously against law enforcement, but you're going to have that anywhere. So, but it's nothing like what you see in the news for some communities that the people are just absolutely positively against law enforcement, and having strikes against them and doing all kind of hateful acts towards them. Um, we actually have a lot of people down here that anytime I stop and get gas, at least one person comes up to me and says, "Hey, thank you for your service. I appreciate you." And just the little things. And
so you're
I mean, yeah,
embedded into your community.
yes, ma'am.
And it makes it hard to not be embedded in your own community. It really does. And I'm pretty great. I'm pretty sure that they are grateful to have you, because you seem like you would be a great officer to have whatever contact with. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to say that, but I just feel that energy from you. Like, you don't approach stuff with a negative attitude. So, and you're willing, you have a
Right.
good ear for listening. So yeah,
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
pretty cool. I'm glad to hear that, young man. And thank you for saying
Thank
it,
you.
because I need people to know that you got a rough ass job and you're doing the best you can as a human, and all y'all are human. And sometimes mistake happens and misunderstandings happen, but if we learn from it and we can move forward from it and be better people, then we'll be all right.
That's it.
What is the biggest thing that you have going with, like, community relations? Do you is there like a some type of organization you work with that mentors kids or anything like that outside of your policing, outside of your job?
I don't do anything um, outside of my job to really get in the community. They do have a team down here called Blue Crew with my department that goes out and interacts with the kids and does all this kind of stuff. But between fighting and working full time, I don't really get much free time, so I didn't want to sign up for another duty that takes me away from the family and everything, because I'm already kind of stretched thin between trying to make sure I have enough time for my girls
Has
and
anybody
make sure they
bumped
don't
on
they
you?
don't feel left out.
Has anybody bumped on you like, we know you're a police officer and you fight bare knuckle, but we bet you can't really.
I honestly, whenever they figure out who I am, a lot of guys will actually say, "Man, I ain't messing with you. I know who you are." Da, 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 da. So it's actually pretty funny. And then a while back, a paper in the UK did a news story on me, and they put it online, and I was the Sun was the name of the paper, but they put it online, and some people from a rough area I'd worked previously saw it and started sharing it, and I just happened to see it pop up on my news feed because I'm under my own name on Facebook, but some people don't know that I'm friends with some of them, because they don't, on the street I'm by a different name, by my legal first name, which isn't Harris. I'll leave it at that. But and that's kind of separate the personas, because I don't want people to automatically associate, because I know back in the day when I first got into law enforcement in 2012, there's a stigma with MMA fighters. You know, you kind of automatically think they're going to be egotistical and out to prove that they're the bigger, badder, and all that kind of stuff. And in all honesty, I'm probably just the opposite. I'll kind of let you talk and be mean to me more than probably should. Right. But it's more or less because I know that I can defend myself, and I know that you're just talking to blow off steam. And if I can talk you down and prevent from things escalating to being physical, hey, great. That works out in my favor. Works out in everybody's favor. So I'll let you blow off some steam at me and cuss me out and whatever you feel like you need to do. And I'll talk you down the entire time. Hey, man, look, you don't have to use that kind of language, man. Look, I'm just trying to talk to you. And I think that kind of stems from just my knowledge of martial arts in general, to where I know if things happen to turn more than verbal, then I can defend myself, but I can do so with the least amount of force possible, and to sustain the arrest without injury if possible, you know. And I'm actually a certified Gracie survival tactics instructor for the department. I got sent to Arlington, Texas a few years ago, and actually learned from Henry Gracie himself, and some Gracie survival tactics to teach back in my PD. So I'm one of the defensive tactics instructors for my whole department. So I kind of take pride in that and have fun doing it. And, you know,
how often do you have to meet that requirement?
Huh?
How often do you have to meet that requirement of being an instructor?
Anytime we get a new hire, usually I'll kind of help out with the new hire class, or even the local law enforcement academy that's down here, which has a lot of the southern agencies go to it. I'll go out to the academy for a week or so and kind of help teach that class. I won't be the lead instructor, because especially now that I'm out on patrol, my schedule's kind of hectic on whether I can make it out there or not, because pulling me off the road leaves our shift short. So I usually have to do it on my off days if I'm able to do it. But
you sacrifice all the way around, young man. Dang.
Yes, Lord, ma'am.
Jesus, do you ever sleep? Do you stand up sleeping?
I feel like it sometimes, especially in camp, because in camp, I mean, I have to be at work at 6:30 in the morning. So for me to work out before I go to work, I have to be up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. So, and then when I get off at 7 o'clock at night, because I work 12.5-hour shifts. So I get off at 7. I have to come home. That's if I get off on time, because that's always up for grabs, whether something happens late on shift. So when I get home, I have to get undressed, kind of wind down, spend a little bit of time with my girls, because I put them to bed at 8:30. My 9-year-old goes to school the next day. So I always make sure that they're good and fed, and brush their teeth and take baths and all the parently duties. And then once me and my wife get them put to bed, spend a little time with the wife, and I try my best not to fall asleep too early, so that way I can get some quality time with her, and kind of not get so caught up in work and training that I neglect the family, you know. But I actually have a sleep tracker on my Apple Watch that I have, and I'll average maybe 4 hours a night on nights that I work. So it's rough sometimes.
Well, damn, man. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you. Yes, we appreciate you, man. We really do. Thank you. I might not be a citizen of your city, but as just a human being, I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Why did you go Why did you leave the cushiness of being a school resource officer to go back on the street?
I honestly loved being a school resource officer. I loved interacting with the kids, and especially whenever they started figuring out who I was and what I did, it was fun. And I could kind of use that to connect with the kids too, to be like, hey, look, you don't really need to go down this road. In high school, I was a nerdy kid. You know, I was this, that, and the other. I kind of got bullied my entire high school career, but you know, now I'm a professional fighter and I do this and do that. And I said, so pretty much if you can put your effort into something positive that you want to accomplish, it can be accomplished for you. Because if I can go from being a nerdy kid that got picked on to being a professional MMA fighter and a professional bare knuckle boxer, I promise you, anything can happen. So, but the real transition to school resource officer came whenever my youngest was born, and me and my wife were both working at the time, and one of us had to have a Monday through Friday job because both of us had off the wall schedules to where we didn't know if we were going to be working a weekend or not. Then it came down to daycare, and daycare not being open on weekends, so having to rely on family and all that kind of stuff kind of became hard. So we just wanted to get a Monday through Friday job to kind of make life easier on both of us. So I signed up for school resource officer mainly for that reason and ended up liking it. But then at the same time, I missed the action because while there's still action in high school, but there's not action like the streets. So after I did 2 years, my little one got a little bit bigger and about to go to preschool or pre-K. Decided to go ahead and make the transition back to the roads and get that back under my belt and
you're pretty happy there,
huh?
You're pretty happy there in patrol.
Oh yeah. I love what I do. I mean,
Okay.
I'm the type of person to where, especially with a job, I can get kind of bored with doing the same thing over and over again. However, with patrol, it's never the same thing. Never. It's always something different. It's usually always something crazy.
You can't even
keeps me entertained.
Twice with the same, with no incident sometimes. Oh my goodness. You're a father. You're a fighter.
Yes,
you're a police officer.
Yes, ma'am.
You're an uncle, a brother, a cousin, a son. And you juggle and you're able to apply all of that together and make it work, young man. Congratulations. And
thank you, ma'am.
I'm excited to see you return. I hope that they start to build this tournament for you guys. And because at this point, I feel like you should be getting ready to fight for a belt.
Hey, I want to go out and just fight every fight like it's for a belt.
Yeah.
My main thing is I just want to put on a show. Win, lose, or draw. If I can just put on a show for the fans and let them feel like they got their money worth just based off my fight alone, then I've done my due diligence to the whole sport of bare knuckle fighting championship and kind of contributed something major to the sport because it's still in its infancy, so to speak. It's
every single one of you guys and girls that have ever fought on any of the cards have made it what it is. Right. So it couldn't have been done without you guys and girls. So we have to thank you guys tremendously. And shit, I'll put y'all stuff on the line when y'all step into that square ring. Y'all leave your blood, sweat, and tears in that square ring. And shit, we gotta appreciate that. That's for sure. Oh,
yes, ma'am.
So who was some of the names that people was throwing at you for possible future, battles? Who was they throwing at you?
I don't want to get any.
These are good names.
I'll put it to you this way. The person that they mentioned to me is he's pretty impressive. So he has a knockout win under his belt.
Okay.
And he's a very, very stout gentleman.
So he's already a part of bare knuckle.
Yeah, I'll give you that much. That's all I can say for now.
Yeah, I don't want to. Good for figuring out stuff. He's got a
man. I'll just have to go back to the history books and check it out.
That's it.
I might
That's
figure
it.
it out. If I figure it out, I'll hit you up in Messenger and say, "Is that who it is?"
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
so when are they talking? This is probably somewhere in 2020. This might be happening.
Yeah, it was hypothetically. I think it's supposed to be in February,
Okay.
potentially. So I said, look, I said I'll turn around and fight every week, every month, whatever y'all need me. If y'all need me that often, heck, even after this fight, next week, the following weekend on the 23rd, I'm doing a combat jiu-jitsu match.
Really?
So I'm doing the opposite end of the spectrum. Yeah. So it's actually an MMA card. It's actually an MMA card that has kickboxing, combat jiu-jitsu, and all kind of different things kind of blended together, which has become pretty popular down here. And just kind of get everything in one arena. So I decided. I said, look, I said, as long as I don't have any kind of broken hand or anything, I want to do that too. So I want to go straight from boxing straight to the ground, just to prove that I'm well rounded and kind of keep myself sharp in all areas and compete in all areas. And if I can turn around shortly after that and do another something, I'm looking to do something else. I'm trying to stay active, trying to make something happen.
All right. Do you have anything on the MMA scene coming up?
I don't have anything booked just yet. It depends on what the schedule looks like. Bare knuckle has priority. I'm under a contract with them to where they get first dibs, and I'd want them to have first dibs because it's, like I said, it's blowing up tremendously. So if I can ride the roller coaster with them, I'm staying on it.
How many times have you been on the pay-per-view side of the card?
Two of mine came on the pay-per-view side because the first one,
like you,
I was a swing bout,
okay,
and that was for BKFC2, and it was crazy because I didn't really know what a swing bout was at the time, and they told me that, hey, look, whenever a fight ends quickly, we're gonna just kind of throw you in to keep the time schedule for the main card. I said, okay, it is what it is. That kind of sucks. You got to stay warm in the back the whole time. But hey, I'll be on the pay-per-view. So ends up, I get pushed after the main event. And so didn't make the pay-per-view part of it. And then I had people text me like, hey, I thought you were fighting tonight. No, I'm still fighting. Just stay after they're done with the broadcast. And that ended up being my 26-second knockout. So all the fans that were there for me went nuts. So it was awesome. I wish I would have done it on the pay-per-view, but hey, it happens. So I ended up turning around, and the next fight with Elvan Brito, I was in a solidified spot for the pay-per-view. So that ended up being nice, even though it didn't work out in my favor. Then the next card with Caleb Harris, I was a swing bout again. So that was another situation to where you had to stay warm the whole night. And luckily, Chris Liebman went out there and ended his fight as quick as he did. So me and Caleb Harris got thrown right before Artem Lobov and Jason Knight the first time. So we were right before the main event. So we were kind of like co-main event, we weren't co-main event, but it worked out greatly in our favor because that's when everybody's tuning in because they want to see the last two fights were Chris Liebman, Jason Knight, Artem Lobov. So, I mean, everybody wanted to see what those guys were going to do, and those fights didn't disappoint. And I think me and Caleb Harris didn't disappoint either. So I think it brought us a bunch of fans.
No, y'all did not. Absolutely not. So, dang, you on the card again with Artem and Jason Knight. It's going.
Yep.
You guys are, man, this is an awesome card for you to be on. Welcome back, young man, to the Knight versus Lobov craziness.
Absolutely, yeah. And like I said, I go spar with Jason Knight in the morning. Travis Thompson's actually down, the animal.
Yeah,
gonna get some work in with him. So I'm excited, man. Me and Travis been talking a few days this week. They're a little bit.
I like Travis.
Oh yeah,
he's a good guy.
Oh yeah. I've told Travis pretty much since the first time I saw him and Reggie fight. I reached out to both him and Reggie, and I said, hey man, y'all put on a heck of a fight. Y'all did awesome. And
Yeah, that's my favorite fight too. Is him and Travis. I
so
don't know why, but it is.
yeah. So
So, are there any other fights on the card that have an interest to you?
oh yeah, I mean
I know
they've started incorporating.
and one that you are particularly, keeping an eye on.
Obviously the few that I'm definitely keeping an eye on are Jason Knight because he's teammate. Chase Sherman's my teammate as well. So definitely got those two I'm rooting for, and definitely think both of them are very prepared for their matches. So, and I'm excited that they're at the end of the card. So that way, hopefully, I actually get to watch them live.
Okay.
So because whenever
it's gonna be some team rivalry down here with some of these fights. All three of y'all coming from down there in Mississippi, and y'all holding it down for the hometown love. So man,
oh yeah,
this is gonna
and then
be
you got Caleb Harris,
y'all. And then
oh
your
yeah,
opponent is looking to try to come and take y'all out in your hometown. So y'all, oh man, this is gonna be fireworks. I'm excited. What?
me too. And then you got Caleb Harris coming back down, so he's fighting again. I mean, he had a brutal knockout in BKFC9. He ended up getting like knocked out of the. Yeah, he's on this card.
You
Caleb Harris is fighting on this card again. Yep. So,
Caleb, that's what I'm talking about. Do you think you might? Do you ever want to rerun that with Elvan Brito?
with Elvan, I mean, obviously, I would like to kind of avenge myself or prove to myself that I can do better than what I did. But at the same time, I'm not the same person that really looks for rematches. I'll take whatever they put in front of me. Me and Elvan Brito have since, I'd like to say, became friends, and we always talk now. And whenever we see each other at the fights, we always joke and act like boys, you know. Okay. So I've got no hard feelings towards him. He's a great guy, and I don't believe he has hard feelings towards me, but it's the fight game. So I never take anything personal in the fight game. I don't ever think that that a fight has to happen out of anger or rage or anything. I purely look at a fight as it's just competition to me. I just want to test myself and see where I'm at and see if I can accomplish the task ahead of me, which is winning the fight against a tough opponent. So
here against Jeff Giffens.
Yeah, he's fighting because he's actually been through. He went through like 2 or 3 opponents. So he got his first opponent, and they ended up being on medical suspension. His second opponent was on medical suspension. So then he ended up getting the third opponent of Wes and Cheffins, or however he says his name, and I haven't got to look him up yet too much, but I know I think he was on the whatever the other organization was that came out a while back, the bare knuckle that didn't pay their fighters. Yeah, whatever that was. He was on that one, I believe, and I think he won.
They kind of migrating over to BFKC.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They decided to come over to the organization. They decided to come to the organization that pays you. So that's smart moves.
I know that's right. Oh Lord. So how many fights is on your contract with bare knuckle?
When the last contract I signed for a 3 fight again. So
congratulations, young man.
Thank you. So I'm under contract with bare knuckle for all bare knuckle fights. I'm with them because I actually had some guys from some Europe I was talking with on, I can't remember if it was Facebook, Instagram, might have been Instagram. I was talking with them, but they were like, "Hey man, you ought to come over here and fight in the BKB." I say, "Man, I would, but I'm under contract. But I'm sure there'll be a BKFC versus BKB showdown eventually down the road." Huh?
Over there in England.
Yeah.
Oh,
over.
They
Yeah,
got some ruffians
get
too
some
over there in
Brits
that
versus US.
organization.
Huh?
I said they got some ruffians too over there in that organization.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen a few of those fights, and they got some ballers when it comes to just sitting there taking punishment and delivering it back. I've seen some bloodbaths in those.
Oh man, you know that our current American women's featherweight champion is dropping down a weight class for this upcoming card to face nobody can pronounce Maya's name, but a young lady named Maya who is a UFC veteran herself. What do you think about that?
Ah, ah, is it Helita? Is that she says her first
Helen.
name?
Helen.
Helen. Okay. Well, I'm gonna be honest. I'd never seen Helen fight before her title win against Christina Ferrer, and I mean, Christina Ferrer is tough as they come. It's just there's no other way around it. And Christina Ferrer has walked through her first couple opponents, you know. So whenever they said this, Helen was fighting her, I was like, man, she better be able to hold her own because Christina don't play no games. And sure enough, that ended up being just an absolute war. So Helen really impressed me. So if Helen performs like she did against Christina, I don't foresee her having too much difficulty. I think she'll still come out on top. She might be battered and bruised like she was in the Christina fight, but I think she'll come out on top if she can just keep that same mentality of never say die and never quit.
That animalistic intention is still there with her. I interviewed her yesterday. Yeah, you might want to watch that interview so you know what you be sitting back watching with your popcorn.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness, Lord Jesus. So, do you want to shout out your sponsors and your team and your gym and let them know that you're thinking about them, all your people in your communities that's going to see this interview, let them know you're thinking about them since they always thinking about you, showing love and support. You know what? I believe that bare knuckle, that's bare knuckle fighting championship home, Mississippi, because we've not had as many cards anywhere else as we've had there in your hometown. And you guys, your fans, your everybody there just welcome us. All the businesses, the hotels, everybody just welcome us so tremendously. And it's fun to come there. And you guys always make it the best ever in Biloxi, Mississippi. So I expect this card to be 10 times as best as it's ever been. You're on the
Oh
card.
yeah.
Yes, one of them, my veteran. He's on the card right here. He's about to get it in again. Got a new opponent, and he's ready. He's ready. The SandMan is ready. The Clark Kent of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is ready. What you want them to know? Tell them everything, baby.
Man, I just want to say, had to come in the gym to look at
Oh, how awesome is that?
look
Oh,
at the
that's
banner to get
great.
all my sponsors in there. You got Alan Belcher MMA, Stars and Stripes Realty, Fire Code Compliance LLC, uh, Battel's Unlock Emergency Roadside and Unlock Services, Jumpin' Joe's, the Print Shed. And you got Keith Seaton in there who helped me out today because I just had to replace my entire AC unit, and that hurt. But then and then you got the Print Shed Empire Fighting Championships, Jason Knight MMA, and of course we also have Turan Foley, Cadillac Buick, and GMC. So
Hey,
shout out to all them for
sponsor,
supporting me and my crazy. Oh yeah,
look at
shout
this
out to supporting
stuff.
me for my crazy dreams. And you know, it's definitely a blessing to have everybody behind me that I do. And shout out to Alan Belcher MMA, all the guys over there. I'm not even gonna try to name everybody because as soon as I do, I'm gonna forget somebody and then get myself in some hot water. So shout out to all the guys down at Gulfport Boxing Club for working with me, and shout out to my wife Karen Stevenson, my two daughters Genesis and Graceland for always having my back and always supporting
Hey,
me,
ladies.
and kind of putting up with my training camps and my crazy schedule, and so
You're ready to
shout
go.
out. Absolutely, I'm ready to show that the Clark Kent is returning.
You almost seem like it makes you laugh to say that. Why? You
Oh
can't,
yeah, well, it's
you
actually
can't
funny
believe that's the
because
name
this
sometimes, huh? I
oh
love
yeah, this
Knuckles from
picture.
that. Who did that for you?
Oh, it was JCR Graphics. I ended up finding out did it, and I found that out through Instagram because he actually uploaded a video of how he did it and how he actually edited the photo and how he kind of because what he he actually cropped my head onto a picture of Superman
Oh wow.
and our Clark Kent, and because it's actually funny because my wife asked me when she first saw the picture, she goes, "Did you tan for this picture?" Did, I was like, that's not me. It's just my head. And she kind of looked a little closer. She go, oh yeah, now I see. I was like, no, they photoshopped the heck out of that one, but he did a good job with it. So
She wanted to know where the hell she was at when you was taking these pictures.
oh yeah, oh yes. She was like, I thought you were at work. What you're doing photo shoots on patrol?
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Yes, you gotta shoot out your brother. You gotta shout out your brothers and Blue too. Don't forget them.
Absolutely. All the guys at the PD. Man, we're actually on shift. The shift I work on, we're supposed to be working the day of the fights. So I had to put in vacation. So sorry, I'm leaving y'all shorthanded. But they're kind of upset about it because they won't be able to make the early part of the fights if they're able to make it at all. Because like I said, calls dependent, you might not get off at 7 o'clock like you're supposed to. So,
So
but
even if they have intentions on being there, so people have bought tickets just to make sure if they do get off of work, they're gonna be there to see you fight.
absolutely, yep.
Oh my goodness, I
So,
am so excited for you, young man. Yes, that's what it's supposed to be. And you said, tell them about the tickets. How many tickets you got left?
oh man, I think I got 8 front row and 7 second row table tickets left.
Oh, so,
And so
what's the prices on them? Tell them where they can go and find them tickets, or get in touch with you about them tickets so you can get rid of them
yeah,
last minutes.
yeah, reach out to me on social media, on Facebook. It's Harris the Sandman. It's our Harris Sandman Stevenson, and on Instagram it's at Sandman Stevenson. And the prices first row is 107 for a seat, and the prices for second row table seat is 87. So
Either
anybody
way, you
interested?
get a great view of that ring.
Absolutely, absolutely, and this is something I'll personally, whenever I go to the fights, like the tables,
Yeah.
because you sit around people, kind of, even if you don't know the people you're sitting with, you're all there to watch fights, so you can kind of talk about the fights in general, kind of say, oh, I think this is going to happen, or oh, I know this person's background's this, and you kind of learn a little bit along the way, so you just share it, and the fight community's real open arms. So
Well, like I said, your peoples come and take up whole sections anyway. So
absolutely, absolutely.
you,
So
Abdel, when we're close to his home, anywhere he goes, sometimes his fan base is large. But you and your family, y'all show up, y'all show out. Your whole community shows love for you, and I am very happy for you, young man. I'm glad you have such a large and huge support system in and out of the ring with everything that you're doing. Your family, everything, young man. Because I know it's hard sometimes to put everything together and make it work. So I'm glad
yes,
for you.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I definitely appreciate you as
Good
well.
luck in your upcoming battle. Hey, be ready to toe that line and knuckle up, baby. That's
Absolutely,
all you can do.
absolutely. Gonna put on a show for the fans. That's for sure. So win,
Yeah.
lose or draw, it's gonna be a war.
Well, welcome back, baby. We're glad to see you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me on Fight Heads, and I definitely
Thank
appreciate
you
your
for being
time.
up here. Okay, baby. We'll see you soon.
Yes, ma'am. See you in a week.
Okay, baby.
All right.
Boom. There y'all have it. Another great competitor. This young man is a veteran of bare knuckle fighting championship. I don't care what none of y'all say, your stats, all that jiggity jack. I don't care what y'all say, but y'all just heard that young man tell y'all about the 3 battles he's been through. And some people, including my guy Reggie, have as many fights as he do, and he's already fought for a belt. So eventually this young man will be getting his shine in that squared ring to get to challenge for that for gold. And I'm pretty sure that bare knuckle is working on something for those guys at his weight class at 170. And we're gonna see. We're going to see what Mr. Feldman and Nay and all the people behind the scenes that bare knuckle can bring us for Mr. And he's such a great competitor. Always such a great competitor. You guys see, you heard his voice, you see what he's like. He's that same person in person. So yeah, win, lose, or draw, he is that same man. So that's outstanding and has great sportsmanship. And y'all see who he runs with the likes of Jason Knight, who will be on this card for part 2 of him and Artem Lobov's fight. Then Chase Sherman, who is the current linear heavyweight champion at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. He's training with them. And then you heard him bring up Travis. Travis has been down there for probably like a week or so. He might have even been down there longer, helping the guys get ready for their training camp. So, and Travis himself was on the last Bare Knuckle card. He stepped in like on a couple days' notice to fight that win, and that went to a split decision. I believe went to that. So Travis is always active. He's always ready. He's always ready to step in. He done been to Cancun. Man, Travis is our man too. He's the stand-up guy at Bare Knuckle. He's a vet too. Reggie's a vet. So you gotta look for these guys and know that when they say they have a plan, it may not come to fruition when they wanted to, but they are very much working on it. All of them are working on their plan at this point. And I have to say thank you again to Mr. Feldman and all the guys and girls that work there with him to make this possible. Every time that they're able to take another step forward and do another show and take it somewhere new and bring on new names. And we have a new young lady coming over from the UFC on this card. She's going to be fighting our current American featherweight female champion, Helen Peralta. I can't pronounce your name, young lady, but I'm going to have to get it in the blown up way so I can look at it, so I can sound it out, because looking at them things on the phone and sometimes on the computer can be a headache. But we'll figure it out, and we'll get to see her face next week when she's at one of the press conferences and showing up for weigh-ins and everything. So good luck to the ladies weighing in. Good luck to my guys too with weight. Hopefully everybody is on track with their weight and their nutrition and their strength and conditioning. I hope everything is just a full circle for everybody that's stepping into the squared circle this November 16th card. Absolutely. It's going to be going down. Felony Charles Bennett and our current 135 American champion, Johnny Bedford, will be giving us an entertaining fight at 145. A lot of people feel like Johnny is going to get Felony out of there. I think they're probably just judging Felony on his first performance. I believe he had a little injury to his hand going into his debut fight at Bare Knuckle, and then the fight just didn't make it no better, and he really just couldn't continue. So that fight got stopped, due to an injury. So I think he's had some rehab. I believe he's done some stuff, had a surgery or something. He's done something to his hand. He's had some type of therapy to his hand. Montreal DJs, what's up? I don't know who you are, baby, but thank you. Welcome to Fight Hands of the Bay. Yeah, whatever. I've been trying to get up with him, but he's so mysterious. So, it is what it is. Our time will make full circle again. You know what I'm saying? Minor Felony. But I'm glad to see him back. I've been one of the people that have been championing for Felony to return to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. But I thought that he may have kind of stirred the pot so much while he was there, and not so much even at the press conference, but just in general, because he is going to be who he is. So I think he gave bare knuckle a little bit of shock factor value with his personality. But I think they've adjusted since then because they've had some other type of characters too. So I think they've adjusted and they know that Felony is as valuable as any fighter that can be on the card. So um, he will bring his fan base with him. Johnny brings his fan base with him. They get to dust it up. We get to see Helen Peralta step back in. We get to see a new face at the super flyweight division in Maya. Good luck, ladies. My guy John McAllister and Chris Sorrow, they'll be meeting at heavyweight. And Miss McAllister looks good. John the Great One McAllister, he looks good. I don't know if I'll be able to catch up with Mr. Sorrow or not before the fight. Yes, and hopefully soon we'll be talking to Reggie Easy Barnett. He was up there with Combat Insiders last night. That was a great freaking show last night, gentlemen from Combat Insiders, Josh and Nick. Yes, those guys. And sometimes, look, y'all gotta laugh sometimes. Y'all gotta, y'all be holding it in too much sometimes. I be waiting for y'all to bust out. Because, yes, you gotta be in the moment. You gotta enjoy the moment when you can with the fighters, man. So, yes, I see what how people be giving y'all the shock value sometimes, like they do me. So funny. I'm watching it. I just laugh. Y'all so funny. And I hope you guys enjoy watching me too. So with that being said, the Clark Kent of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, Harris SandMan Stephenson versus Kenny Licea come November 16th. It's going down. It's going to be exciting. They're both have an MMA background. They both are coming to see, hey, yes, baby. Yes, that's the wife right there. That's Mrs. Clark Kent right there, y'all. There she is. There she is. Beautiful woman. Nice family. Wonderful family. I believe I've met his mom and his dad and everybody. Yes, they come multi-mai tai. Yeah, they come as they be taking over sections. Yes. And guess what? Never, ever seen a Discord in their section or anything. They come with all love. They show love to all the other fighters that's on the card, including SandMan's opponents. And it's just always wonderful. I always feel like I'm at home when I'm around his family because they're so wonderful. And every time they see me, they make sure they let me know they see me. So I appreciate that from them. Thank you all. I love you guys. Like I said, it's going down November 16th, y'all. We got some awesome fights coming up on this card. And I thought we were going to have our guy, Mr. The originator spectator, Mr. Guns. I thought he was going to be on the card. There's a couple new names that I've never seen before. Adam Palerano, I think this says. And, oh yeah, Palerano. And Joe Peg. Jeff Shiffens. Why does that name sound familiar to me? I don't know. But that name sounds familiar, Mr. Shiffens. If I get to talk to you, any of the guys and girls that's coming up on this card, if you guys want to get up here and show the world the job about to be up here and remind them, let's do this. Let's do this. Maya Kahanale. That's what it looks like her last name is, Kahanale. So I'm gonna have to look her up and see what she's got because Helen was talking her up, and she believes this young lady Maya has some good striking, and she believes that Maya is going to be a formidable opponent for her. Although she plans on getting her out of there. Helen did talk this young lady up, and she does believe that she's going to have a good fight with the young lady. So we have to look forward to that. And Helen is dropping down again, you guys. Again, she is dropping down from her championship weight to super flyweight. So she's champion at featherweight, and which is 125 for the women, and she's dropping down to 115. Now they kind of got it like a catch weight bout, so they can meet at 120. But Helen informed us that she wants to get as close or be at 115 to not give her opponent any reason to not fight. So with that being said, good luck to Helen with making her weight, and to Maya too. Chase Sherman and Joey Beltran. Now this is what's interesting. Joey Beltran has a connection to Lady Maya that's going to be fighting Helen. Helen told us that yesterday. So I don't know if they're married or their boyfriend or girlfriend, if he's our manager. I don't know. But Joey was kind of instrumental in helping set this fight up for the ladies. So thank you again, Joey. And he's been in that square ring himself, and he's left some blood, sweat, and tears. I don't know if he left any teeth, but yeah, he's left some blood, sweat, and tears in that ring. And I know he knows what any fighter could go through going through there. So this young lady Maya must be Rubbermaid tough. So we're gonna see what she holds for us come the 16th. And then the coup de grace for the card. Jason Knight, Artem Lubov, part 2, you guys. Oh my God. Like I said, I expect to see that 4th and 5th round Jason in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round, whatever, however the distance goes with this fight. Like I said, we don't know if Artem has made any changes to how he presents his fight game in the square circle. So we're just going to have to wait and see. We can't just count on him just being that same, Russian hammer that he always has been. Because sometimes y'all like to surprise us and change up a little bit. So I don't know if we're going to see that or if we're going to see the same type of fight he's always used to giving us. But I do. And y'all see, it's just been coming out slowly. Y'all see that Jason is taking this fight very seriously, more serious than he took that first one with Artem. He has said it many times. He said it with me. He said it with Combat Insiders. He said it with everybody. He just didn't have no respect. They didn't have respect for each other. They thought that they were going to walk through each other. I believe both men had the same thought process going into that first freaking fight, and they surprised each other, which can't never get no better than that in a fight when each fighter surprises each other. So with that being said, they both know where they feel like they may have themselves, not anybody else's opinion, not our opinion, not their coach's opinion, not their wife's opinion, but them as the fighter, the person that's stepping in there. They both know what they feel like they could have or should have done better. It's just a matter of will they do it. That's where that's at. And that's for any of y'all. That's for any of y'all. So with that being said, love, peace, and hair grease. Miss Nikki, Fight His MMA, is in the house. Oh, Wes Combs and Adrian Miles. Those are the two. So I'm thinking those two are going to be, it looks like maybe Wes and Adrian's fight and Chris and John's fight may be probably like prelim fights. Looking at this, the way they got it lined up. Yeah, so that's probably what that is. Those two fights are going to be our prelim fights, which y'all know y'all can see free at on Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships YouTube page and Bare Knuckle.tv, I believe, or Bare TV final Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. And on the Fight app, FITE. So those fights you'll definitely be able to see for free. I'm pretty sure they used to stream them on the Facebook page, but I think you have to go to the YouTube page to see the prelims for free now, and you can see them for free on the Fight app, FITE. Yeah, so those will be two great fights opening up. I wonder what weight Wes and Adrian are fighting at. We know that Chris and John are fighting at heavyweight. I don't know what Joe and Adam are fighting at, and Caleb and Jeff are probably going to fight at 165, 170, somewhere along in there, or maybe even 185. No telling. Who knows? Harris is fighting Kenny at 170. Helen, we know, is dropping down to 115 from 125. Johnny Bedford is going up and meeting Charles Felony Bennett at 145. Chase Sherman is defending his first defense of his linear American heavyweight belt against Joey Beltran. And Jason Knight versus Artem Lubov, part 2. That's what that card is looking like. You guys do not want to miss it. I would suggest, I think the place is probably already sold out. And if you need tickets, I know at least the SandMan has some. So you might want to hit him up and Messenger, go on his page, let him know you need a ticket, work that out. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure this is probably pretty much sold out. I'm pretty sure it's sold out. So yeah, pay-per-view may be the only eyeball you can get on this card. So if you haven't ordered it, it's very reasonable. I think it's like $29.95 or some stuff, and you get to watch it as many times as you like if you download the Fight app. You get to watch the fight over and over again. Plus, you get to see the other fights that are already up there and were pay-per-views that have been moved to free viewing. So yes, go up there and get the goods. Plus, it's a whole bunch of other stuff on that Fight app. Like I can't even keep up. I can't keep up. It's enough. It's a lot. So yes, you guys stay ready so you do not have to get ready, because you never know when you're going to get that call or that email or that text from BKFC, UFC, Bellator, and even Invicta, and some of these other up and growing promotions that's coming. Yes. Or Valor Bare Knuckle also. They're in the running too. I forgot all about them. What's up, Valor? Yeah, they're in the running too. So you never know when you might get that email, that call, or that text, you guys. So stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Now, piece of hair grease, Miss Nikki, Fightheads MMA. Have a good night, you guys. And good luck to all my warriors that will be in combat this weekend. Good luck to everybody.